Local author, and she's written a book. It's called Arts of Passion. And so, Miss Madelyn, we're so glad that you've been able to come talk with us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Tell us why you decided to write a book.
Well, actually, it was my husband's idea that I start writing it. He and I used to, we've got a very vivid imagination, and we used to share our stories and our ideas, and this one we played with back and forth. He added a little to things that I said, and he said, you should write it down, Madelyn, it sounds so good, and so that's what I did.
So how did you actually come up, well, let's actually, before we get to that, talk about what the book's about.
The book takes place in a small town in Alabama,
okay.
And the heroine of the story is running the family arts and crafts gallery that is actually based in their ancestral home in downtown. The father is in the hospital sick. As the story opens, we tell about the mother who had passed a year before. Now Dad is critically ill in the hospital. As the story progresses, we find out that Dad's not just sick. Dad has actually been poisoned. And so the basis of the storyline is investigating Dad's illness, how he was poisoned, who in the world would want to poison him. A couple of love interests take place in the story, and so, yeah.
And you mentioned that you and your husband were able to kind of go back and forth, and you often share ideas with each other, but how did you come up with an idea for this? Were you just thinking about it one day?
Actually, we lived in a small town in Alabama at the time, and we were talking about one of the galleries that we had seen on television, and he was talking about it looking, like, and from there I added my little 2 cents, and then we just, I don't know, the story just developed.
I love how you have that special connection with your husband and that you guys are able to kind of have this fun thing that you do together. I think that's really cool. But where is your book available to be purchased?
The book can be ordered online through Barnes & Nobles or Amazon.com, or you can order it directly from the publisher, Publish America.
Okay. And now, how long did it actually take you to write this book?
I actually worked on the book a little more than a year.
Okay.
And then my husband actually passed away in 1999, right as I had it being reviewed by a major publisher. When he died, I just kind of put everything away and didn't do anything with it for several years. And then my oldest daughter suggested that I really needed to get it out, that, it's sitting there doing nothing, and with Dad being so proud of it, you really need to. Yeah. So I started looking into publishing it again from there, and thus got it published last year.
Fantastic. We are going to hear more about it, and she's going to give some advice for some writers out there who might want to write a book of their own on a Madelyn Hollis talking about Arts of Passion, her book. But I want you to show it off here. You've got it in your lap and kind of show off the cover. How did you come up with this cover idea?
Well, actually, the publisher took the the cover idea from a picture that my youngest son drew for the book. Originally, he had drawn out some ideas that he had for the book, and one of the pictures I just fell in love with, and I actually included it inside the book. And so when the publisher asked me if I had any ideas or if I had my own cover in mind, I told them that I wanted them to do something along the lines of the house that was in Matthew's drawing, and they actually took that house and they did things with it. And so this is actually a picture that Matthew drew for the book.
That's so wonderful. So I feel like this book is really a family affair, that you kind of had your husband and your son now being able to give you pieces of it, and I think that's just wonderful. But advice to others. Maybe there's somebody watching and they really want to write a book, or maybe they're kind of playing with the idea. What would you tell them?
Do it.
Do it.
That was the thing. I have had very little self-confidence most of my life. Had it not been for my husband, and then the children later on encouraging me the way that they did, the book would still be where it was, on the computer. I had no clue what to do once I finished the book. I contacted a couple of publishers that, said, we don't deal with that, you'll have to contact. And so I had a lot of doors slammed in my face. With the internet now, it's a lot easier to find out how to do things. I suggest you go out looking at, I self-published. Okay. In the end, that was the easiest way. It was the quickest process. It is a little bit more costly to the author to self-publish, but it goes quicker.
Okay.
my publisher, Publish America, was I worked with 3 and chose them in the end because they were so helpful. They gave me advice. They told me when things worked, when it wouldn't. We'll do it that way, and I mean, they were really good with pushing me in the right direction, tugging me in the right direction a couple of times, but they were very helpful.
I'm so glad that was really helpful, especially to be new kind of on the arena. But this is not your last book, because you said you've been working on one, but we wanted to kind of touch on writer's block real fast. Can you tell us about this next book?
My next book is a mystery that takes place in a very high security government facility. The writer's block on that one came into play because I planned my crime scene, and then I couldn't get my weapon into the crime scene because I put so much security around it. And so my block was almost 2 years long. I could not figure out how to get my weapon into my crime scene. And I talked to 2 or 3 different people, and they would laugh and give me suggestions here or there. And finally, one day, my youngest son actually said, well, you know, and he gave me a couple of tips, and he and I played with the idea, and I thought, oh man, and I ran with it. And so I've come up with a really good storyline from there.
Good. Again, we thank you so much, Madelyn Hollis, for being on the show. Her book, Arts of Passion. Be on the lookout. Keep your ears open. She's going to be having some book signings coming up. She's planning those. And you guys can go to Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble to find her book, Arts of Passion. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we're heading to a break. Stick around. We'll be right back.